Okay, we are live. Yeah. Is that right, Lars? Is that working? I hope so. Yeah, all right. Okay, great. So, today, more teaching, yeah. The process of my teaching is that I turn a wheel called Dharma, yeah, and that is time, yeah. We all kind of think time is what it is, you know. We got a clock, we have a watch, sun goes around, you know, all this kind of stuff goes on. But why is it in prayer people say to Jesus Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for bringing me here, yeah? Well, you got to add that up. If I'm bringing people places, then I'm also controlling time, yeah? Because where you get is in a point of time. It's your time to be there. You may want to go all the way across some distant place, but it's going to take the amount of time to get there. There are events and circumstances that come into play that put you to where you're going to go. And then all kinds of choices as to why it is you're going to go from left to right, and will you still go? You know? And then you end up where you're at. And then in the end, you know, you're going, thank you, Jesus Christ, for bringing me here. You know, and it is a state of your consciousness that you need to come to. You know, the fact that Dharma is time, and it controls matter. It controls the outcome of your circumstance, whether or not you're a fortunate person, whether or not what's going to happen for you is more along the line of God's divine grace involved in your life, and bringing about a change that changes your life to the better, to a more evolved person, and then you die, and you reincarnate. And now you're in a flow of the tree of life. You're in the fluid of God's plan. You know, you're in service. And there's no choice in the matter. You're not going, oh, today I'm going to make a choice. You know, no, it takes a long time. A long time. It's all about time. Yeah, and the Lord is the Lord of time. Yeah, it's not like, you know, a time Lord, you know, and you get all sci-fi, you know. No, it's the only Lord there is, and there is no time without the Lord. The Lord creates geomancy. Yeah, and with geomancy you get time. Without geomancy, you do not get time. Without geomancy, you do not get light. You do not get the speed of light. Yeah, you never get it. It just is relative. There's no conscious relative relationship to it. There's no mathematical relationship to it. There's nothing, except for the fact that the Lord controls time, which means he controls matter, controls the outcome of things. And how does that work? You know, is he a magician standing around on a great big cloud? You know, wielding, you know, his will over circumstances. Oh, I don't like that. You know, no way. That's not going to happen. It's not like that at all. It's a turning of wheel of Dharma, yeah, which happens simultaneously with the wheel of karma. You know, your life, the circumstances in your life. When you incarnate into the wheel of karma, the wheel of life. The wheel of karma. Have you ever seen that in a Tibetan image? It sucks. That's a bad place. Really bad place. Yeah, and it encircles you with demons, and encircles you with being a demon, and what level of a demon, and all those things. And that's your life. That's your life. That's what you incarnate into, every single life. As long as you're on the wheel of karma. Yeah. And so the Buddha knows this. Buddha sits in the center point, in the cosmic point, you know, where time comes together, where things are connected, kind of like a great big vortex that meets in the center. One vortex is going down, the other one's going up. Yeah, and the Lord is in the center of that. Yeah, so that's what is relative to time. Is the Lord, the existence of the Lord. Yeah, and that the Lord is in both places, you know, dealing with the karma, absolving it. by touching it at all times with the light of the Dharma. Always touching it with the Dharma. Always. Inside of the karma is the potentiality of turning the wheel of Dharma. So every action of karma could become good karma. So somewhere along the line, there's an interface between Dharma and karma. And you can see it in the philosophy of Buddhism, in Christianity, and other teachings of high religion, high thought. So that's coming from a real reality, except that we don't know. We are not aware of the fact, the characteristics of the Lord is that He's the Lord of time. So when we make this prayer, when we invoke a prayer, for the releasing of the curse of humanity, it's a serious thing, very serious. It's not just saying, oh, geez, bless my ass, give me the light, shine that light on me, give me a little bit of it, come on, Jesus, just a little, you got so much, man. Come on, I'll be your disciple. I promise I'll never turn on you if I ever meet you, But there's 100% chance that will never happen. No one's ever had that experience personally. It's like meeting E.T. No one's really had that experience, And that's all we're waiting for, is that experience. It's not about meeting E.T., it's about meeting Jesus Christ when He becomes present. And He's done that. We have it historically. So it's the time. There's a circumstance inside of time. There's the first cycle of time where Jesus comes and is born and completely throws a wrench into this game. Everything was capitalistic. Every single thing was capitalistic. Every single thing. From your religion to your government to your economy to you go into the church and they're weighing coins, and they're changing coins and they're selling shit, rip off, putting their thumb on the weight, ripping people, con man all the way through, all based on something totally different than what everything is. Like, they're in a church. Shouldn't they be religious? Should this really be going on? Is this sacrilege? Are these people heretics? That was the mind of Jesus. That's what pissed him off. Where are you people coming from? How is this possible? Do you know what you're doing? This building will fall down to the ground within years. Short period of years because of what you're doing. And the only reason that will happen is because I'm saying what I'm saying. The words that reverberate from the sacred geomancy, the Lord of time, puts things right. Shocks the shit out of all things that are going on. He throws a wrench in, makes himself present. So it's in the presence of the Lord that we get time. And we have time in many different ways. We have time by the sun going around, and we have time by the relationship of, how it is we see, the relativity of the distance of the earth and where we're at, longitude and latitude, and those are time frequencies. Now, how long does it take to get from this point to that point? Longitude, latitude, coordinates. All of that is based on the relationship of how we deal with life. And that's in our consciousness. And we don't know why. It's in our consciousness. It's in our consciousness. And all of our great geniuses, they actually figure it out inside their head. As though they're the universe. As though they're the star system. As though they're a mathematics of sacred energy and form and everything. Mathematics come in their mind. And they're getting that from this sacred geomancy that we see as planet Earth. Planet Earth. Why do we have trees? Why do we have bugs? Why do we have animals? Why do we have men and women? Why do we have life? Dharma. Dharma. Tree of life. Yeah? Turning the wheel against harmony through conflict. Yeah? Karma. Yeah? Turning that is harmony through conflict. Yeah? You without God, you're gonna do wrong. You're ignorant. Ignorant. You're coming from ignorance. And you can be led by ignorance that has a greater sense of power and lies and makes life very inconvenient. And you lose all of this, but yet it's consciously inside of you. It's who you are. When you're born, you're this geometric form. And what is this geometric form? Yeah? It's the Great Pyramid. Yeah? See a triangle in the center, we see the moon on top. This is the mathematical equations of the Great Pyramid. This is our Earth. And it's just a building sitting there, a pyramid. How can that have anything to do with Jesus the Christ and time and our relationship to our consciousness? Our ability to have any consciousness whatsoever is based on holding matter into a sacred geometric pattern. Not letting it be chaos. Just go about bouncing off, doing what it does. It just does that, yeah? But the Lord doesn't see it that way. The Lord ohms, and all of a sudden it becomes something else. And the Lord thinks, and all of a sudden it becomes another thing. Then the Lord has intention and waits through the intention, and that becomes thought form building. And after a couple of gazillion years, we have what was sitting in front of us, this Earth. And it has a sun, and its geometric pattern, its distance and everything are all interconnected with that process. Everything is connected with that process. I think we lost our camera. Yeah, can we fix it? All right, so we're back. So anyway, the process, here I'll show the picture again. Here we have sacred geomancy is applied through the mind of the Lord, and the Lord is without body. The Lord is consciousness. Yeah. And the Lord begins the process of sound, thought, ideology, ideas, manifesting, thought form building, creating a universe, multi-universes, multiple universes. All this is happening in the Lord's mind, just like what happens in people's minds. People can have mathematical equations pop in their mind, and it's crazy. It's insane. Imagine what happens to the Lord. Yeah, the Lord is the creator. The creator. Yeah? No, we're not talking that there's already an earth, or that there's already a moon, or that there's already trees, something for the Lord to work on. No, all there is chaos and darkness. Chaos and darkness, and that's it. You know, so the Lord sits through it, and that begets these virtues, patience, understanding, receiving, yeah? Because what the Lord is receiving is the love the Lord's putting into it as the transfiguration is taking place. And everything turns into the soul of the Lord. Everything. Our universe, we see it spinning now in spirals, exactly with the Lord. The Lord's doing that. Yeah, it makes no sense. But we take that and bring it all the way down to our fingerprint. Oh my God, He's doing it to us. The Lord made us in the same way. That's crazy. And then we look at a flower and we go, oh shit. There's no separation between this flower and us and other ants and plants and planets, as though it was planned. Yeah. And that's how things work inside the Lord's reality. That's Dharma. That's how big Dharma is. Now, this is karma. This place is karma. Think how small karma is. It's nothing. Just stupid people making stupid mistakes. So, what do we get? We get the teachings of the glamours. That's all it is. It's not real. It's teaching from the Lord about glamours. And you need to go from inhumane to humane, and you're going to choose to do this. And everybody's going to scare the shit out of you and say, oh, the planet's going to be destroyed because you're not doing your thing. Yeah? Because you have no guilt, you have no compassion, you have no empathy. So you're going to have people screaming at you and saying shit and, doing stuff to get your attention. Al Gore will say what he had to say back 10, 15 years ago. And everybody's going, we're kind of on the edge with Trump. Maybe it's okay, maybe it's not okay. Probably not even worth putting the time and money into it. Let's wait. Wait for what? Wait for what? Yeah? The Lord has a complete plan. Complete plan. And that plan has dates on it. Dates. So your time in this world, the way you've experienced it throughout history, is about up. And I'm not talking gonna kill you, gonna destroy you, gonna whip you, gonna make you change. No, I'm just gonna take away your vices. They're gonna go away. You're gonna wake up with fewer vices every morning. Less murders. Yeah? Because they're there. They're there. You have groups. You have the KKK. You have it all. You have it all. It's right here in America. So, I'm put in America, yeah? And we have the total number of states that recommend the qualities of the changes of the nations. Yeah? These states are like electoral ballots. Yeah? Crazy people with stupid ideas and insane lower conscious behavior. One state to the next. Each one different. Each one no valid, real reality for its existence whatsoever. It's just a border. It's a border. But due to your prejudice, you create a conscious border. So that when you pass across that border from Utah to New Mexico, wherever you're going, your consciousness goes with you. It changes. It's altered because of the state that you're entering into. And you could see it in how the police behaves and how the government behaves. And holy mackerel, they're so different in every state. So different. You go all the way from Florida to California, you'd think you've gone from heaven to hell. You're just going, wow, man, over here they're so healthy and vibrant, and we have just as much sun. We have the same beaches. But no one's smart over here. We're all just gluttonous, evil, greedy, corrupt, soulless beings on the East Coast. And you go, wow, but New York, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, but Boston, yeah, yep, exactly. Philadelphia, yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's nothing about it that has to do with the representation of who we really are. They're separate states of consciousness that are messed up. Really, really, really messed up. Yeah. Because we don't have a collective soul that we've tapped into yet. And we're going to. Yeah. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. The amount of reverence that outweighs irreverence. Yeah. When you have irreverence, yeah, a corrupt president says all the things for 4 years, does all those things for 4 years, gets elected, doesn't go to prison, goes through all this. He's still out. He's been out now for about 2 years, almost a year and a half, just walking around as a regular guy, He's still crazier and shit and thinks he's president, But that vile energy has to do with your karma. He comes from karma. His existence is karma. Doesn't come from Dharma. The moment you talk Dharma, he's sick. He all of his kids are sick. His wife is sick. He's sick. They don't understand anything. Where are you coming from? Pay taxes. We don't pay taxes. We're rich. We get free Rolls Royces, and they're free. I'm sorry, you don't get that, but we're rich. Don't be messing with me, hitting me with a mean stick as though I've done something wrong. I'm rich. Haven't you ever seen rich movies with rich people? That's how we behave. You can't say this. It's wrong. They're so caught up in this illusion. Yeah. They showed, just the other day, they showed a funny thing of truth. That in Los Angeles, that the largest bill for a homeowner, is the Kardashians. And we're in a state, California, where everybody is monitored and asked, please don't use too much water. Don't water your lawns. Don't wash your car. Try and take short showers. Do all these things. But they're the opposite. They're 600 times the amount of water they've been asked not to consume. They overconsume 600 times. And because, that means that they only have to pay a $300 or $400 fine, to them that's like, so water costs more. There's no thought to the neighbor next door or to the state that they're in or to the environment or the planet or anything like that whatsoever. So they overwhelmingly increase their water consumption. For what and how? And then you go down that list and you'll see major basketball players, rap stars, all on the same list. And these are people who are in the tens of thousands of gallons in a regular house. Tens of thousands of gallons flooding through their house. Yeah? Because they don't give a shit. So the karma comes their way. Yeah? A list comes out and all of a sudden you think you're just living your high life in your house, being the devil and all. And nobody knows that you're the devil inside that house at all. And then all of a sudden here we are and in a drought for 27 years. We have no water. All of California is completely dry. We've lost everything in Nevada, Arizona. Everything is dried up. We're asking people, please do this, And now everybody, even their fans, are going, what the F? I didn't think you were that bad. It takes this. We're all out of water. We're all going to be out of water. You don't know this, but we are all going to be out of water. If you don't learn your shit together, get it together. I teach a lot of things. I teach RV living. I teach little house living. I teach how to recycle your water and live within your means to be sustainable. I teach how to use battery generators in order to hook up your own system without hiring a $30,000 thing from Tesla or some other group to come in and give you solar. Where you can just buy a solar generator. And they're very good because I'm spending all my time and energy in supporting those things to make sure you have the right alternatives to not be like the Kardashians and be the exact opposite. And not only save you money, but save California. Save the zones of the drought in Nevada and Arizona and Utah. Yeah? And Salton Sea used to be a sea. Yeah? Used to be a sea. Lots of people went there. My family went there. We would go there all the time. Now it's uninhabitable. It is a death zone. It's solid salt and all dried up with dead fish sitting there. That is our legacy. Yeah? And we have more of that going, and yet we have no idea sustainability is necessary. Yeah? And how do we contain sustainability? We have to make sure we're not supporting the process of people, large groups, individuals that are blatantly soulless. Yeah? How do you know they're blatantly soulless? Well, it's easy to tell the Kardashians are blatantly soulless. They sold their body, they sell their souls. It's just what it is. They're just harlots. It's just what it is. There's no question about it. There's no question about that. Yeah? But how long will it take for you, who puts tattoos up your arm, for you to recognize someone else who's also a harlot, just like you are? But you're a harlot in your own way. You sell your body, you put your tattoos on. Nothing decided over a long term. Yeah? Because our life is a long-term thing, and we want to use our life to contain wisdom and become wiser as we get older. Not be marked up on both sides and have a history of the past of ourselves being the Ku Klux Klan or being a Republican and following the insulting attitude of the Ku Klux Klan. You know, when you listen to your politicians and stuff, like Green and Robert and all these others. Yeah? Take a look at this little bit of what goes on in the process of the Trump world. Yeah. We have a lot that goes on. Check this out.
We need to be the party of nationalism, and I'm a Christian and I say it proudly.
I am a Christian. I'm not ashamed to say it.
We should be Christian nationalists.
A Christian nation.
The church is supposed to direct government, not the opposite.
Christianity is the underpinning of this country, our moral strength, our government rights and responsibilities.
We were founded by very strong Christians. These were men of faith.
Every sign of our Declaration of Independence was, in fact, a Christian.
Anti-racist is a whole weird ideology that, quite frankly, tries to make white people second-class citizens.
White Americans are being treated as second-class citizens.
There are now two standards of justice.
It's a dual system of justice.
They care more about the illegal immigrants at the border than they do the American people. They're giving out handouts to them.
Our country just don't care about us Americans. It's all about a handout to all the illegal immigrants.
The foreign-born population is now growing by 132,000 people every month.
The non-whites are reproducing rapidly.
If we continue on this trajectory, eventually there will be no more native-born Americans.
Our people literally are an endangered species. Our people are having few children. We've got to start protecting our race.
If you're white, you have to go to the back of the line discriminating against white people.
There is racial discrimination going on right now in this country against massive numbers of white Americans.
How precisely is diversity our strength?
So how is diversity our strength?
And I'll point out, listen, the Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, you go with that, right? Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you'll buy that shit. Yeah, it's quite a process, you know, the whole entire thing. You know, here, look at just one. You got this nice lady who gets out a Christmas card. You know, and she's got all her kids sitting there, standing there with machine guns and a Christmas card. Yeah, this is how Republicans present themselves. It's a serious reality. Why are children being shot in schools? It is in the mind. Just like it's in my mind, I create this universe. It's in my mind. I did that. My mind. Well, look what you got. Yeah, it's from your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Any prejudice, even the smallest amount. Why must you practice Buddhism? Why must you meditate when you get irritated? Why must you move directly into mindfulness? Why must you question your job and your attitude towards your job? Yeah? Why must you consider your relationships in life and whether or not those relationships are compatible with your spiritual values and your growth? Yeah? Do they in any way, shape, or form hold you back? Yeah. And how can you get yourself to a position to where you're empty enough to not have that affect you so that your consciousness could be raised and your thought form building ability co-creates with the Lord? co-creates. You make your life better. You make your life better, not through manifest destiny. The Lord helps you out through the Holy Spirit. And you have to practice holiness to attain the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit controls time and space. Controls time and space. Every bit of it. It controls whether or not we have a gun anywhere on this planet. It does. Yeah? Because in the consciousness of the Lord, there were no guns made. No guns were ever made. No weapons were ever made. Yeah? Yeah? The capturing of an animal to eat is as far as we went. Yeah? We lassoed, bows and arrows. Yeah? But in the mind of God, we don't attack each other. We don't steal from each other. We don't use these skills to harm another person. We are harmless. Yeah? We're brothers and sisters. We don't see any separation because we have a soul. And that's the way God made it. Yeah? Nothing about us is like this. That's why one day we will all wake up in God's creation. Yeah, it's not a click. Here we are, utopia. You know, I've got to build the cars. I've got to change your housing. I've got to provide you education. I've got to get you oriented toward cooperating and not being pissed off all the time because you've been hurt so bad. You're in the process of being healed, and at the same time, you know, you're dealing with being hurt. And, you know, no love, you know, unrequited love, that sucks. How many psychological problems do you get from that? Yeah, it's the basis of almost everything. Yeah. Freud got it all wrong. Yeah, he thought it was all about our inner sexual desires. Yeah. But in reality, it's about our co-creative relationship with the Lord and our ability to express love and have it come back. To see, literally see, things change. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot in this weird shit that goes on that has to do with the process of the Democratic and Republican Party. Yeah. Imagine this is a process where
it's against your neighbor. It doesn't always have to be bad.
In 2015, that meant rallies that ended with fistfights and assault charges. In 2017, neo-Nazis felt emboldened to march on Charlottesville.
Very fine people on both sides.
In 2021, a deadly assault on the nation's capital. Ahead of this year's midterm elections, Trump's style and message are still as popular as ever, spawning a rise in the use of violent language and imagery in Republican campaign ads.
We're going rhino hunting.
When this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic.
To get ahead in the GOP now, you need to be espousing this kind of violent rhetoric. People who are candidates, like Mehmet Oz, who was running for Senate in Pennsylvania, he used to be for gun reform. But you can't do that now because the party has radicalized.
They're dead wrong.
So instead, he showed himself shooting a gun and parroting this very common propaganda point that the Second Amendment is no longer about hunting or recreation. It's to use arms to overthrow a tyrannical government.
Our Second Amendment is not just about hunting. It's about our constitutional right to protect ourselves from intruders or an overly intrusive government.
In Washington, Republicans have been slow to condemn the violent rhetoric or have remained silent. Responding to Eric Greitens' ad targeting Republicans in name only, known as rhinos, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said it was up to individuals to decide what they will accept.
Well, I think this is something that voters in the Missouri Republican primary need to take a look at.
And in the House, members of GOP leadership have themselves amplified the same racist conspiracies espoused by mass shooters. In May, a mass shooter killed 10 people in a Buffalo, New York grocery store. His online post showed he was inspired by the racist and anti-Semitic, quote, Great Replacement conspiracy, writing that mass immigration will disenfranchise us, subvert our nations, and destroy our communities.
Democrats' one-party rule in Washington.
Experts saw echoes of that ideology in a Facebook ad posted last year by the third-ranking Republican in the House, Representative Elise Stefanik of New York. The ad accused Democrats of planning a permanent election insurrection through a plan to grant amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants who would overthrow our current electorate and create a permanent liberal majority in Washington. Stefanik's spokesperson called criticism that she was amplifying the Great Replacement theory a disgusting low for the left. Republicans have sought to label Democrats as equal actors in encouraging violence by pointing to some Black Lives Matter protests that devolved into looting and damaged property. Republicans have also tried to censure a Democratic congresswoman for urging protesters to get confrontational.
Democratic politicians, they may use heated words, but they do not pose in their campaign ads or as sitting lawmakers with assault weapons, saying that these assault weapons, you can use them to overthrow the government. They do not espouse oath keepers and other extremists. And so it's not that you can never criticize the Democrats, but it is a false equivalency. And January 6th is proof of that.
More than a year after the attack, Trump refers to the rioters who stormed the Capitol as patriots who deserve pardons.
If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
Ben Ghiat diagnoses Trump's message and the Republicans who stand by him as modern authoritarianism.
Trump presented himself as a victim of a whole democratic system that was out to get him. And the only way to right this wrong was through violence, and that violence would be purifying, it would be patriotic.
She doesn't see a clear exit ramp.
There hasn't been a moment like this with a strict parallel where you have a bipartisan system in which one of those two parties has left democracy to the point of fomenting a coup attempt. And they are unrepentant. And the leader and beneficiary of that coup attempt, which failed, is still in good standing. The other wild card is the availability of guns. So we're in uncharted terrain.
I want to take a moment now to speak directly to my fellow Republicans.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of just 2 Republicans on the January 6th committee, released disturbing voicemails his office recently received.
Why in God's name would someone think attacking law enforcement and occupying the United States Capitol is the best way to show that you're right?
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. That will never happen with me. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will, but that was a disgrace. The third group, I'll be a little more violent. If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees, I promise.
The verbal attacks on the FBI and the Justice Department on Trump and his allies. The attorney who represents whistleblowers, Mark Zaid, tweeted, quote, Trump, via Breitbart, released unredacted copy of property receipt containing names of FBI agents. Based on his history, this can only be interpreted as intentional to cause these special agents, one of whom I know, and their families grief, and subject them to possible threats, Mark Zaid said. Your response, Karen Greenberg.
You know, my response is that this is just a replay on a different level in a different arena of January 6th. This is the call to violence on behalf of the former president and his treatment, this time under the law.
Yep. Yeah. So this process is a process of externalizing the glamours. Yeah. And so when we speak today, we have the head of glamours, the Kardashians. Yeah. We have the lifestyle of glamour. Yeah. It's all about glamour. Yeah. Riches is all about glamour. The process of, anything. If you're a movie star, it's, there's such a glamorous life. And the Kardashian being pretty or being sexy or any of that, all those things, sex and money, is glamour. Yeah. And then there's greed and gluttony. Yeah. And all those 7 sins. And there are the vices. And then we look at these people and they're expressing all these things without question. And they're harming every living human being. And we're doing nothing. We're doing nothing. Because glamours is a demonic state. They come from devas. Divas and devas. Yeah? Mahadeva is Jesus the Christ. Mahadeva is Jesus the Christ. Yeah? That means that he's the highest angel of this planet. And that's what a deva is. An angel. A diva is a devil. A demonic spirit. A demonic spirit. Now, what do all these glamour queens say they are? They say they're divas. They all say they're divas. Yeah. Oprah's a diva. Yeah. Every single one of them's a diva. Even the guys. Transgender. So that they can be divas. You can't be a diva. You have to be a girl. So then we have homosexuality. Why? Because they want to be a diva. They want to be a god. And they see girls are gods. Girls get what they want. Girls don't have to work. Girls, because they're pretty, they get a rich guy and they're on the wagon. It's a thought form inside of glamour. Inside of the Cinderella syndrome. And that's said to every little girl. Oh, you poor little thing, you're just a little Cinderella. They're just holding you back. Whether you're black or Mexican or white, it's a Cinderella syndrome. They're holding you back. They're prejudiced, they're biased. You're a girl. They need feminism. They need to go on a feminist route. That's just the witch talking in the mirror. Keeping the spell going. Keeping everybody in a state of glamour. Passing out the curses. Each one a vice. Every time you take a bite of that apple, which is a vice, you make it manifest. You are their supporters. You buy their makeup, you eat their food, you live their lifestyle. You think those certain sneakers are the ones to have, which Kardashian do you follow? The makeup one, or the clothing one, or the shoe one, or the straight out sex goddess? All of them are that, And it's impossible for us to not realize that we're in hell. We're in hell. And the people you believe in, even Elvis Presley, was so deep in hell, he died from it. He died from the curse of having to wear the clothes and take the monocle of being Elvis Presley, rather than being the great soul who he was. He was a great saint. He was meant to praise Jesus 24/7. He was meant to be a disciple to Babaji. Read it. Yeah, it's his history. It's what he did. But he went the other way. He went glamour. became the king of glamour. That's pretty bad. That means a very high saint fell really far down. And we all beat that drum. We all beat the drum. We could have easily realized he was a good, sweet man. Like an angel. You know, we'd rather listen to his music of Christianity and his praising of God. And, you know, because all the other music he never wrote. The only ones he wanted to sing were Christian music. And if we were in our heart caring about him, with him, we would have followed that with him and only bought those albums and just said, meh. And the rest is bubblegum shit. Doesn't move me, it's not good. Just bubblegum shit. You know? And he would have gone down the path that he wanted rather than bullshit movies. Imagine that. Poor guy was ruined, and so many people are. People at a young age, 19, 20, girls, you know, they immediately go to Playboy. They immediately go off and get their clothing style changed so that they can become a model. You know, and they're all freaked out. I'm overweight here, I'm overweight there. You know, so we have a disease of throwing up in jars. Even Princess Diana did that. Yeah. That's just unbelievable. But it's our situation. We are elemental. Yeah, we are angels. Angels. Our Lord is a Mahadeva. He fights against divas. He protects us from divas. He teaches us about divas. He points them out. He judges them. He causes their evil karma to come back on them, creating karma in the first place. Yeah? And we don't witness this because it takes too long. Most of the time it's like Caesar stayed Caesar and then the next evil asshole took on, and you know, everybody's a slave for thousands of years, you know, under this real reality, you know, that has to do with us and the glamours. You know, why would we have a Caesar but glamours? If you look at that life, there were a bunch of homosexuals having sex magic and money magic, you know, manipulating other people, yeah, as divas. As divas. They thought they were gods. Go all the way back. Keep going back. Keep going back. They think they're gods. Divas. And they create empires, and they become kings, and they become queens, and they become Hitlers. Yeah. And they're just an incarnation of a diva, one life after another. And we just, our history shows it, but we don't recognize it. We just, you know, divas is a, you know, a myth. That doesn't exist. We just use the word for the shit, for the fuck of it. You know, words don't matter. So we say diva, you know. We say all kinds of things that have no relationship to where we're coming from. We're deva, and we have virtues. And we have to fight for our virtues. Yeah? Because we're tempted by our glamours. We're tempted by the vices. All this is said, you know? And yet I'm saying it, and it's, I bet you it's making sense to you. You know? But yet you can read it over and over and over again, but unless I say it, you won't get it. Yeah? Because it comes down to the word coming out of the mouth of the Lord who created the first word. And we all go back to the origin. We all go back to the teacher. We all go back to where we come from. It's natural. We resonate like a tuning fork. We are all one. But we've gone through separation for so long and lived this stupid dance of the devil. And we're still in it. We're still in it. Yeah? And you are only able to witness it. That's it. It could scare the crap out of you. Oh my God, is he going to become president again? Is he going to take over? And am I going to die? Is Jesus die? Never come back? All these thoughts come into your mind. The possibilities. Yeah? Because you can't imagine that this is it. It's the end of the devil. all these billions of years, all these fallen angels, the entire history of the earth, all the fear that we have toward the destruction of this earth, the greenhouse effect, the wars, the insanity, yeah, the prejudice, the bias, the Putins, the Hitlers, the Trumps. You know, you can't control those people, and they're behind the scene doing things to harm you. Yeah, knowingly. Yeah. Yeah. So all that is being closed off. The door of the astral plane is closing. That's how they get in. Because of witches and warlocks, you spent too much time going to so many frickin' witches and warlocks, asking them to fix your life, make your job easier, get your wife to love you, get this other guy to love you, yeah? Give this person a curse of hell because they did you wrong. You know? Put a curse of desire on this person, watch them wiggle through the rest of their life going crazy, unable to figure out why is it they feel this way. And it's happening to bazillions of people all over the world, in every nation. You have a witch and a warlock, a palm print out on your, right on your street out there going, come on in. I'll do your astrology. I'll look at the newspaper, read your astrology, talk to your neighbor, go to your, you know, your process of channeling, you know, somebody dead, you know, mediumship of some form. You know, so many things, to the point to where your words, because if you have gone to a witch and warlock and started curses, you become a witch and a warlock. You're part of the game. Does that make sense? You're not an innocent bystander taking out a coin, walking up to a witch and a warlock and asking them to carry out a curse. You are part of the game. You're another witch or warlock wanting to wake up, wanting to be a part of the game. And you did it. Now, when did you do it? I don't know. But trust me, you did it. Yeah. And that energy, that is an astral plane, psychic energy, leads you to delusions and confusion, separation, hate, jealousy, enviousness. You know, a whole life spawned by darkness. You know, all manifested by lower nature and your lower mind, and your lower imagination, based on hate or jealousy or enviousness and any of the vices that come into your head as you're trying to think. Yeah? And it can't happen because of the curse. We have all these rays and chakras that are just flooding through our being, but we only use partially of them because of the curse. So many curses. So many lives. Where were you during the time of Hitler? What did you do? How about the life before that? How about 2,000 years ago? Where were you when Caesar was doing what he did? For the 1,000 years he did it. Yeah? What part of you were building the wall in China? Yeah? What part of you were going around the world with Genghis Khan, ripping off and terrorizing people? What part of you were traveling the ocean as a pirate and going from shore to shore, stealing because you can, and no one could catch you? You put your hand into Satan's bucket, and you pull out what Satan takes you to do. Yeah? Then you've got that curse in you, and you're gonna be running for that dollar. You're gonna be running for that piece of gold. You're gonna be running for that vice, whether it be heroin or alcohol or cigarettes or sex or anything in life. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. I'm teaching this not because you can go click, I end it, but you can help. You can help. This is a long-term process. Long-term. Yeah. And the more that you move toward, relax, take it easy. Sure, you get anxious. Sure, you get nervous and all those things, but don't get down on yourself for it. It's your past. Your past sucks. That's a fact. Let it be. Don't make it suck any longer. Relax. Meditate. Get your solar form on. Get your weaver out if you really get freaked out. Go do soul therapy. I provide all these things to close the door. And if you can close your door, you have no idea, because you're a saint, you have no idea how much of that light is turned to darkness to keep you from your light. And it's all there in previous lives. You wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't be involved in this process of the externalization of Christ in the hierarchy and the ending of Satan. Yeah? You're very involved. Everybody who's watching this. And when I go to Glastonbury next week on Sunday, I'll be teaching there. Yeah? And that's, I own that place. Literally. I literally own it. Yeah? I own it. Yeah? Lock, stock, and barrel. Everything. All of High Street, all of the Abbey, the whole circle. The whole circle. It's at least 1.5 miles in a circle from the point where the center of the Abbey is at, going out. In a circle. That's my land. And it's sacred. And it's meant to serve a purpose. It serves time. It's the only place on earth where time is zero. Isn't that a trip? Glastonbury. The only place on earth where time is zero. Yeah. And that's because that's my place. That's where I'm supposed to be teaching. That's where everybody's supposed to be drawn to and receive the blessing from the beginning. All the saints did come to that church. Hundreds of thousands of them for over 1,200 years. They came to that church, and when they died, their shoes were left there, their clothes were left there, their signature was left there, all their bedding was left there, their spoon, their cup was left there with the priest, knowing that they will all reincarnate. And that was the belief, that we all reincarnate. Yeah. And that if we put everything into this church, when we all come back, we pilgrimage back to the first church of Jesus Christ, who told us we all reincarnate. Yeah? And nobody said anything like that, but it's the truth. So I had rooms beyond rooms. Yeah? All of the Abbey was a library, a historical covenant. Started off with 12 huts, with a center hut. And each one was from clothing from each one of the disciples was in those huts. And each one of the disciples was given the empowerment as a disciple. Yeah? So they received the light in 12 different emanating energies. And that manifested into the earth. That created the clock of time. And it stopped the process of evil. Closing the door of evil happened at the Abbey. Yeah. Started with the first church, creating the 12 spokes, creating the clock, manifesting the ley lines, creating sacred sites all around the world, and closing the door of the astral plane of evil geomancy. Yeah. The relationship where you take geometric reality and turn it upside down and say evil incantations into it in order to imperil matter, creating an astral door in areas around the planet where there would be ley lines. Those ley lines would gather together, and that would be a natural sacred zone. Just a natural sacred zone, because ley lines connected the whole planet. people meditating, people's consciousness going up, inventions being developed, all kinds of things were directed through these ley lines in consciousness of soulful prana, consciousness. So in any area we'd be building Stonehenge, but we'd be building Stonehenge all around the planet. At the same time we're building the pyramid. And you go around and look at that and you go, how did they do that? They built it the same way they built the pyramid, but how do they do that? Yeah. It's done the same way, just as I'm saying. Yeah. So all of us have this in us. We have this process, and we are closing this door, the astral plane. It's bigger than you think. I mean, imagine, here we've got this. You know, that sacred geomancy that's sitting there, that is our reality. Yeah. Imagine I create this puja. This is called the 7 rays of the 7 chakras. We're going to watch this for about, I think it's 13 minutes. Yeah. So it's a puja. So meditate, but watch it. Look at it. Yeah. Because it's a teaching, and it explains how the Lord created the world through geomancy. Yeah. So take a look.
I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan.
You may see this as the future, you know, and, oh wow, that's going to be a neat future. This is the beginning. This was exactly the way I saw it in the beginning. And we are gazillions of years past that, now sitting here, and I'm sitting in the center watching it make manifest. That's how long it takes. Once the door of the astral plane closes, you get pure soul. Yeah? You get the visions of the soul.
To your throat center. I invoke the alignment of the 7th ray. To your sacral center.
So if you look at this, in my mind, in creation, before there was a flower, before there was anything, there was mankind. Yeah, kindness.
The 2nd ray.
There was kindness. There was me. You know? And I saw myself. And I saw myself with these 7 rays, but I saw myself with 2 bodies as a divine hermaphrodite. And I didn't think anything like, oh no, who am I going to be? Which one will I be?
The 6th ray.
Being everything and everyone. This is the true origin of the first couple, the first of humanity. You know, we're all made this way, with these 7 chakras, with all of it perfectly aligned. There's never any separation at any time. Is there ever any separation? We're going to pass through that door, and the astral plane will completely close. Completely. And it requires the lives that are turning the wheel of karma to end. Once they end, we get the life of the wheel of Dharma, the tree of life. Big diff.
I invoke the invoke the light of the Christ within. I invoke the nature of the Buddha that you are to become. I invoke the mind of the Davic angelic beingness that you can be. I invoke the celestial spheres, the sounds of heaven, the sounds of God, the song of love. Lines of this earth, the pulse of the seven rays, the awakening of the Logos, the healing of humanity, the coming forth of the hierarchy, the saving grace of truth. visions, to awaken, to live.
Pretty cool, I think. Yeah, that's really cool. I got a bunch of those kind of things. So the process is that we're all waking up. Yeah. And we're all going through a tremendous thing, and no one understands it except for me. Yeah. And it's not a process for people to get caught up in too much, because it's the biggest difficulty is that everything that's being healed is based on hate, hostility, aggression, things that are seriously bad stuff. And we want everybody to change, to get rid of those things. Yeah, we don't want prisons, we don't want death, we don't want illness, we don't want all this stuff, but it all comes from the astral plane. And I'm not going to go through process of beginning a religion and beginning, teaching you how to practice energetic medicine and go through a slow, long, transitional process of changing your vibrational rate so that your chakras, all this linear shit that you think probably would be required to get this to work. It's not what's required. Not at all. It's all a matter of time. God has a day. He has a day. I'm not worried about anything. God has a day. But God has days of the end. Days of mass destruction, days of nuclear wars, days of terrible, terrible things that we must avoid. We must do everything we can to avoid. And we can. Yeah? Because where we're at all times, where we're at is on the precipice of where we're going. So if we're at a certain point and our vibration is not in the right connection, being led in the right way, then a mass of that energy keeps us in a state of inertia. And we don't see any change. It takes too long. And we all lose faith. We all lose hope. We all lose. And then we get false prophets that say, oh, this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen. This is when it's going to. And we just get all these expectations that tear away at our heart. It just increases our solar plex to be more dependent upon astral thinking, as though we know something, and we don't know shit. You don't know shit. And I'm not given privy to anything other than what I am. I am given information, I have insight, I study all the time. So from that, I gain a great deal of insight that I didn't have yesterday. Every single day, I am covering, I'm like light speed. Going through that, I am fixing everything to get us to the moon, making all the decisions to move us from Mars to the moon, all the decisions of closing the space station and going on. No one knows any of that is going on because I'm the one doing it. And I don't have a big support system, but I have the new group of world servers, and my personal plan is going to be the outcome. And I've always said my personal plan is that we go back to the moon, put a space station just on the orbit of the moon, and we put a space stations on the moon, inside the moon wells, where there's all these different openings inside the moon, where we can go down 50 to 100 feet and be completely safe from radiation and everything, and not have to go through all the processes of the danger of being on a moon where you see all those craters. That's not because it doesn't get hit by large objects. It's that it does. And we don't live there, so we don't know how often that happens. You don't see whirling winds that you could see from a telescope. And if a crater hits, it's different than yesterday, and you don't have an exact mapping system, so you don't know. Yeah, we're not in that position, but we will be. We'll be on the moon. We will study the moon. We will learn that the moon is a sacred sphere. And how is this possible? This is a frickin' alien ship. How is this possible? Our moon's not a moon. It's hollow. You can't have a hollow moon. It's impossible, but yet we do. So that's going to be a big thing. Yeah? That's going to bring a lot of people into listening to me, because I can explain it. Yeah? I can explain the process of the Earth and the Schumann wave and the hollow moon and its resonatory frequency in relationship to the great sacred reality of the planetary logos. That I use telepathy, I use frequency, I use vibration that radiates out of my consciousness that is so subtle, you don't pick it up, animals don't pick it up, but it's there. Yeah? And it's the etheric plane. So I affect the healing of the etheric plane. I keep it pristine. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah? And then there's an outer plane above, all the atmosphere, above the geosphere, everything. Yeah? And it's the noosphere. And that's where my consciousness is at. My thinking, my ideas, my presence, my day-to-day presence. What it is I'm doing when I'm studying all night long. I can't go to sleep yet until I finish what I'm studying. Yeah? And I have no choice over the matter. Yeah? Because I try and go to sleep, and I see it in my mind as though I'm still studying. So I might as well just continue reading, because it's just going to continue. And then once I'm done, I'm out. It's done and over with. But that information never leaves me. Yeah? And it adds on to the next day, and it answers questions that are coming from the past that need to be fulfilled in the future. And I learn all this stuff like 10 years in advance, and it never really gets to fruition for another 10 years or 11 or 12 years. Yeah? But it's just in a state of study. It's in a state of thought, in a state of open-mindedness. Yeah? And it all pools into my being. That's called the etheric plane. Yeah? And my body becomes the witness of change. Yeah? I have an open mind. I am one with God. I am here to co-create and appreciate and do the things that God needs to have. So I'm here for response to God's plan. And as it becomes fulfilled, I resonate a connection to it. And I make sure that everybody else does too. Yeah, that's the etheric plane. It closes the astral plane because you're all listening to the astral plane. The lies and the bullshit and the anxiety inside yourself all comes from the astral plane. And I'm putting out the etheric plane and the higher soulful qualities. Yeah, which all of you are. It's free. Yeah, you don't have to jump through a hoop or anything. Yeah, it's there for you at all times. You just need to relax. If you don't relax, you got your own shit to deal with. And then the people next to you and the people in front of you that's going to come up in your life. When you're in the astral plane, you pick up the problems you're going to have. You pick them up. And you worry about them before they happen. And then they happen. And you go, wow, am I psychic or what? Yeah, but you're creating a world of destruction. And you are definitely psychic. You got to stop that shit. Yeah? Does that make sense? All right, so let's do a puja. Okay. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. to guide me into the right activity in the plan, to clarify and stimulate my mind, to transform and transmute my feelings and emotions, to energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body, so there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So if you listen to this invocation, it's everything I just told you. Yeah? Creation, the beginning of creation, the purpose, how you work, all that stuff. But without your virtues, without the Lord Jesus Christ, you're cursed. And you don't have any options. None. You don't have the Pope. You don't have Peter or Paul. You don't have anybody. They don't matter. They don't. The only one that matters is the original Creator who put us in this situation. And that is done for a real good reason. Yeah? Because you can be in the consciousness of the ashram. You can be in the consciousness of the ashram. So that's what this invokes. I invoke the power, the love, the wisdom. I invoke for energize, vitalize, and heal my physical and etheric body. That's everything I told you. Everything I told you. So the reason why I do my invocation is so that will happen. Because it's my only intention. It's to sever your relationship with Satan. And if I could do that well enough, then he will have no reason to be here because you're not supporting him. You just don't know that you are. And once I clear that curse, you no longer have that curse. And you're able to possibly one day become a monk or a nun. Yeah? And a lot of times it's extended Sangha for many, many lives. But at least you're an extended Sangha. At least you have a pyramid. At least you're listening to the pujas. Yeah? But it's going to lead you to the Sangha. It's a matter of purification. And it's a matter of time. You can't rush it, because you'll suffer while you're in it, because you're rushing it. Everybody has free will, and don't take advantage of free will. That's why I don't put out, emails and say, join the Sangha. Are you ready now? I don't do anything like that. Not one thing. I don't ask anybody if they're interested. I don't do anything like that, because to me that's not necessary. I am the one. I am the one. And when it's time, you'll come to me. Yeah? And then you'll be my monk or nun. And that will be it. You will always be a monk or nun. You will always be an angel. And you'll wake up every morning knowing that you're a monk or nun of Jesus. Yeah, and that I don't change, I only get more Jesus. It becomes overwhelming after a while, because the who I am is extreme. My presence is extreme. How I look is extreme. It's full light in my cells. My eyes have light. My earlobes have light. My hair has light. I permeate this room. I'm not normal. So that energy is what you get in this ashram. And this is my ashram. Just like the little place of Glastonbury is mine too. And that's where my ashram fell. Yeah? That's when the witch came to that place. Brought Satan, the father, to that place. And took it over as Lilith. And bequeathed death to the world from that place. And that's way before it was ever called Glastonbury or England or anything like that. But that was the location that Lilith and Lucifer did their bid. And that's where dragons were manifest for a very long time. And that's the history of England. Yeah? And it's there for a reason. Yeah? This whole weird mythology behind that place and all the witches and the warlocks and the covens and everything. There's a reason for that. It's the sitting throne seat of Lilith and Lucifer is England. Yeah. And Glastonbury is the place that they made it fall. And they got rid of all the priests. They destroyed it and turned it into a town. You know? And I'm lucky to have the option to rent a building, you know, and provide soul therapy, because every building was sold to the devil. They had the devil's Bible, they had Satan, they had fallen witches and warlocks all over the place. People walking around with hooves on. Yeah, thinking that they were animals, and they still do today. That's what happens with Lilith and with Satan. They make you go in an opposite spiral, and you enter the animal kingdom, and you have to become vegetarian. You have to, because you can't eat your own kind. Trippy, huh? Yeah. When people see themselves as the animal and not the angel, but they're under the delusion that they're a god, a demigod, which is an animal. If you look at Satan, he's half goat, half man. You know, look at Lilith, she's a fucking snake. You know, so this is not good. It's not good. It's our counter-evolutionary reality. It's an alternative reality to us, all of us. And they exist, you know, and we can allow them to exist through our glamours, through our desire body, our desires. That's why in Buddhism, that's why through me, I do everything I can to heal you from that process, from your desire body. Yeah. All right, so let's meditate.
I am a messenger of light. I am a pilgrim on the way of love. I do not walk alone, but I know myself as one with all great souls, and one with them in service. Their strength is mine. This strength I claim. My strength is theirs, and this I freely give. A soul, I walk on earth. I represent the One.
Okay, take a deep breath.
will of God moves the world. The past has gone. I am that past. It makes me what I am. The future comes. I also am the coming destiny, and therefore I am that. The present flows from out the past. The future colors that which is. I make the future also by my present knowledge of the past and the beauty of the present. And therefore I am that I am. Within the circle of the will of God I stand. Without the radius of the world of glamour, I take my place. And there I stand. Before the open door that just reveals a different lighted way, I take my stand. Before the presence, I will take my place, and there will firmly stand. And stand I see. Love is the incentive of our aspiration on the path. Love is the substance of our living in the world. Love is the light and the light of freedom from all creatures. Love pulses through the universe in a divine rhythm. Love is the consciousness of God. May the holy ones whose disciple I am show me the light I seek. May all mankind, may all humanity of all knowledge, may all light on earth make manifest the soul in all things, all life. I invoke the radiant golden sun to manifest the thread of the soul into the kingdoms of the elementals, into the kingdoms of the vegetables, the animals, into the astral plane. I invoke all humanity to become the caretakers of the kingdom of God. I invoke the will of God as the soul. I stand before the judgment seat of my soul. I am that soul. All love and light am I. I serve the world and lose myself in service. This is my life, and this is the way that I will tread until the day be with us all. The awakening in the consciousness of humanity, the family of humanity, to bring forth points of energy within themselves, inaugurating certain new techniques in work and in modes of communication. I invoke the group of telepathic communicators. I invoke the group of trained observers. I invoke the group of magnetic healers. I invoke the group of the educators of this new age. I invoke the group of political organizers. I invoke the group of the workers in the field of religion. I invoke the group of scientific servers. I invoke the group of psychologists. I invoke the group of financiers and economists. I invoke all creative workers as the new group. I invoke the externalization of the inner existing of conditions within these groups through the manifestation and the externalization of the avatar. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. Enjoy. So these pujas are absolutely necessary for your growth. Yeah. They will last infinity.
You have no idea, but you're going to learn what that means. With consciousness, there is infinity. Consciousness. With light, there is infinity. With the Lord, there is infinity. Yeah? And with that comes full consciousness, enlightenment. Yeah? And so there's no end to anything. It's all encompassed within the Lord's infinity. Yeah? So if you look at the magical aspects of the Lord, you go into certain belief systems, and you'll see that the Lord himself is the Magi. Yeah, he's known as the Magi, and as the Magi, he stands against the Dark Lodge, the other dark magicians, and he stands there representing the White Lodge, and all that will be, but he is it. And all that holds that together is his 7 rays and his virtues and who he is. And who he is that he's the beginning and the end. So there's really he is everybody. Yeah. And that's the way the Lord sees it. So when you listen to this puja, it tells you how I am. That I am not here to be served, I'm here to serve. And that I live within serving masters. I serve masters. They don't serve me. I serve them. I praise them. I recognize them. I bless them. I acknowledge them. Yeah? I cleanse their way, making sure that they can recapitulate. I'm not like the Dalai Lama. I'm not like anybody else. I'm actually there as your sole representative. Yeah? As a representative. Yeah? Both God's representative and your representative. The representative for all the birds on earth. Yeah? A representative for every kingdom on this planet. I am the representative. Yeah? They all connect to me as Mahadeva. They all, animals that, just love me, they just go into meditation when I'm around. It's just the way they are, It's just loving because they are that way. Yeah, they're natural. They have a strong sense of companionship and relationship. Yeah, they're very drawn to the human being. The human being is a loving, kind, caring, giving being. And animals pick that up. Yeah, and if you're like that, then you got a friend. If you're not like that, they turn into your enemy. And they're like you because you are responsible for their being. How they be, how they consciously represent themselves. Are they violent? Are they aggressive? Are they diseased? Are they in a state of disorder? Are they continuing their magical experience? Yeah? Going from a bug into a butterfly, that's crazy. Being able to be a butterfly and fly at 35,000 feet. Yeah? To reach 35,000 feet. Butterflies do that. Can you imagine that? How they go across the whole planet. They go that high and get into that stream. And they're carried. Yeah? And we find they grow in California and they find themselves in Mexico. All in one lifetime. How's that possible? How's that possible? And they all gather together and meet at the same place. That's what I'm telling you. Thank you for bringing me here. Yeah. It's nature. It is how I work. Yeah. I serve all the animals to make sure they get to where they need to go and do what they need to do through their intuition, their telepathy, their etheric field. We communicate. We share information. Elephants share with other elephants where the water's at. Ancient water. You've never been there before. But you find it. You know where it's at. You go there. Instincts, maybe. But it's telepathy. Everybody, everything reincarnates. Where do these animals come from? They just don't propagate. Yeah? Yeah, they procreate. They procreate. Yeah. All right, so there's lots to learn, people. Lots to learn. Yeah? You got all the time in the world. Yeah? You're in an ashram. Yeah? It's a beautiful place, but you need to learn its rules, and you need to understand meditation, that you are a resonating component of the Lord's work. How does the Lord change the world? Through you. Yeah? And the Lord serves you. You have to serve the world. Yeah? That's how it works. All right. Enjoy.